Good morning, live from Canada. Just want to give you a quick little tour of the amazing Goldwell Academy. We're holding the Artist Edge class here. This is day 3. Incredible facilities. Loads of space. Everything we need. So it's been a wonderful 3 days here. Of course, Sharon's been showing us all the latest tricks. Here she is. Good morning, Sharon.
Hi, Julie. Hi, everyone. How are you? We're going to do a really quick video for you today. We're just about ready to start class, and I thought, why not just quickly do what I'm trying to do each week for you, even though we're on the road. Show you something that's a little bit of a inspiration for today. So my hair inspiration today is going to be working with some braids. We're going to do an outside braid across the front, and just to sort of make things a little quicker before our students arrive, I've already gone into the back section and created 2 braids. So let's show you what I've done first. So I've done a diagonal parting from the right hand side over to the left hand side, right across. I split that section off and put a ponytail in, and I've come through with just a 3-strand braid. And with that 3-strand braid, I've very carefully pulled out all the edges just to create a beautiful wide sort of braidal finish. With that other section, I've actually directed this one across, so there's no band on the top section. As you can see, it's just going to overlap the underneath section of the hair, and it's been pulled out, and we've put a band on the end of that. Now, to get the front prepared, I've directionally blow dried the hair right across the front. So you can see it's coming from the left-hand side to the right-hand side. And I started with a smaller area, like a small triangle section. And as we've moved across, it's progressively got just that little bit wider, so the panel will finish in the top of the ear. So we've started off tight here and just finishing off on the top of the ear on the opposite side. So I'm going to come through now and create a braid. I have to put my glasses on because sometimes it's a little hard to see. So I'll start with just a small section of hair, slicing it straight through from the front to the back, or vice versa I should say, from the back to the front, and break it up in 3 equal sections. I'm going to take the back section under and pull it through the center, and the front section under and pull it through the center. Now every time I come through, just bear with me till I get myself going. I'm going to take a slice from the back to the front and connect it with that back section, making it as one and pulling it through. So I want to always bring the hair through the center, and we slice it all the way across. So I'm not picking up on both sides, I'm just coming through and slicing cleanly right through the panel. So we go all the way through. So this facility we're working at here at the moment has been an absolute joy. Obviously the team here in Canada have been significantly fabulous as usual, and also we've had a phenomenal class. I think we have about 26 students, and this is day 3, so it's been a really intense 2 days already, and day 3 is obviously going to be no different. The students have really loved what we've been doing. It's not your traditional long hair class in the sense that it's more like an artistic class. It's been phenomenally successful, and it's one of the classes that I really enjoy doing the most. Okay, so I can see now that we're getting a little pattern going on here, and hopefully you can see what I'm doing as well. So we've got anyone out there watching, Julie?
We have Derry in Ireland, or Sinead from Derry in Ireland. We've got a few Spanish-speaking folk who've said muy bien, which means very good. They're happy with what you're doing so far, right?
Good.
It's late in Australia, but that's okay.
It's very early in Canada.
It's very early in Canada.
In fact, we had to get up a little earlier today just to get this job done before the students arrive. It's quite interesting, isn't it? You know, depending on what part of the country you live in or what part of the world you live in, it's a different time. And so it's always not always suitable for everybody when we do these videos, so it's rather convenient for our lovely folks that live on this side of the world because they're not having to sort of be kept out of bed quite so late to watch this.
All right, so now that you've asked, Sydney is up. There are quite a few people up in Sydney.
Oh,
Arkansas,
great.
Geelong in Victoria, Canberra, Ireland.
So we're working throughout America currently at the moment. You probably understand from our last video, we posted a Facebook on Facebook where we were going to, and we move on to New York on the weekend. So we're going to be doing boot camp in the Goldwell Academy in New York, which is once again a magnificent academy. We're very blessed to have such a lovely locations to do our work at. And I think we actually have one person that actually at the last minute due to illness had to drop out. So if anyone's keen to come to our class, I believe we have one more spot in New York, and that's kicking off on Sunday. So my recommendation is, if you feel that you can sort of see your way clear, it will be a fantastic class. We're very excited with what we're going to bring you for our boot camp in New York. So jump online and you can book that now. We need to know, obviously, that we've got a full class, mainly because we have to provide all the bits and pieces. So we do have one spot at the moment left due to this last minute cancellation. We then move on to LA, and that's obviously one of my favorite places to teach, not just because the beach is running at the back of the academy, but just because it is LA and Santa Monica is very special.
Sharon, which strand are you putting the pickup into? Sorry,
I'm putting it into the back end.
Thank you.
Can you see it coming through the back? So I'm catching it right through the back, picking it up into the back section and pulling it up through the middle. Does that make sense now? So coming through the back. Sorry, it looks a little awkward. It's just quite chunky hair, so it's a little awkward sometimes to show. So that's it. So quite simple. I wanted to do the outside braid, I think mainly because being here for the last couple of days, it was quite apparent to me that a lot of people tend to do the type of braid that I've done on the front, but not necessarily work this style of braid. And I think it's a really important braid to know, and particularly if you're doing sort of sewing in wefts and things like that. This braid, a smaller braid obviously, is the perfect braid for sewing in, you know, extension pieces. So it's a good one to know. So I thought, oh, okay, we really need to get that little message out there and show everyone how to do it. So pull this out and get a little bit more looseness happening, so it looks a little more softer, a little bit more disheveled. When I prepared this hair today, obviously I've directionally blow dried the front, but I also add a couple of hot rollers just to the end of it. I find that if I don't bend the ends, particularly on the mannequin heads, but you know, generally overall on anyone, if I don't bend these ends, I find that it looks quite nasty when I pull it out. It doesn't have this beautiful sort of shell-shaped finish. It tends to be just a little bit dried and fried looking. So I am an absolute fan of pulling hair out when it comes to doing a braid, but I like to know when I pull it out, it doesn't look quite so messy. Now, even here, even though I have put hot rollers in it, you can see it's not a really clean texture. It's just a little bit more sort of fly away.
So Jo wants to know, is the braid on the crown looser? But Jo, when she's finished the front, I'm sure Sharon will turn around and show you what's going on at the back. We had a look at that before, and she'll recap that for you.
So I'll just sort of stop around there. I'll just maybe lift up this little edge along here. It's always a little harder to lift up as you move through. Sort of break it up a little bit like so. But I think what I'm going to do is just maybe just, no, I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'll just sort of take it through the side. I was going to wrap it across the top, but it just looks a little bit, not so fabulous.
So here's a personal message, Sharon. Nadine from Bunbury in Western Australia. Do you remember her? Yes.
Yes.
A couple of weeks ago. She said she didn't place in the IHS comp, but she was way more confident after the class we did in Perth. So
oh, that's
thank
such
you
good
from her.
news. Thanks for letting us know. It's so lovely because, you know, we've arrived here at boot camp, this class, to be greeted by a gorgeous student from our last year's class we did here. And she had actually also entered in a competition after she did the boot camp and pretty much said the same thing, but Sorry, Nadine, she actually went on to win, so that was a little bit different to your outcome. But, you know, it's just lovely to hear our students doing so well and learning so much. And you know, I think that's what's really important, is seeing how successful the students are when they actually do attend class. The confidence that it gives them is absolutely fantastic. So I'm just going to take this panel through now, and I've taken a bobby pin and I've pinned through this braid and pinned it into the base of the little elastic band ponytail base that I have in there. So those pieces are just wrapping around and coming through across there. So let's just show you once again what I've done. This is a diagonal which will come across that way, and I like slicing it through in that direction. I'll just loosen this ever so slightly through the top. I don't want to get too carried away. Just a little bit softer through here, so it doesn't look quite so flat. And I'm going to just do some sort of little wrapping around tricks through here. I find that you know, braids, as we all know, are super popular, and it dawned on me recently that for the amount of years that I've been hairdressing, that it seems like braids have come back so many more times than probably most of the younger generation have ever known. In saying that, I think for the younger generation, this is the first time you've seen braids so intensively pursued and executed. But for me, having hairdressed for a long time, this technique of doing braids has been around for a long, 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 long time. In fact, at one stage I was heard to be said that if I never see another braid again in my hairdressing career, I won't be too soon. But that if now I've stayed this long, I have to embrace the fact that they're back again. But you know, I think braids need to be done in a different way. I think they need to be executed in a really beautiful, creative and interesting fashion, and hopefully this might give you some inspiration to create something a little bit different other than maybe just a traditional braid.
So while you're working there, Sharon, I'll just tell you who's online. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so West Palm, I guess that's in America, Atlanta, Nova Scotia, Townsville, Brisbane, Central Coast, Perth, North Queensland, Peru.
Wow.
Yeah. Fort Lauderdale, Toowoomba, Romania, Arkansas, Melbourne, I think I said Melbourne,
Okay.
Brazil, of course, and everyone is asking, when are you coming?
It's just amazing, isn't it? You know, the world of social media just never ceases to amaze me. How wonderful is it for me to be able to be in Canada, demonstrating something and sharing, you know, my ideas with the world. And it's just so simple for me to stand here with a doll and a tripod, and Julie with an iPhone, and we're able to connect with all these wonderful people around the world. You know, 10 years ago, would we have ever thought it would be possible that this is what we'd be doing as far as our education and things that we do? It's just wonderful that we have what's happening in the world of you know, social media and the real world out there now. So look what I'm doing, Julie. I'm going to take a small bobby pin, but I just want to show the guys out there this. I want to pin this little piece onto the head, but I obviously don't want to show a bobby pin up. So I'm taking this small bobby pin, and I'm just going to, I will open it up, and I'm opening it up so it just grabs the entire section front and back. I'm going to weave it through like just a little stitching thread. I'm going to take it up and over into the actual base there and just anchor it back on itself. So that way, you know, we're able to sort of pin things down but not show the whole bobby pin. And I think that's half the battle whenever we do any pinning. Sometimes we feel like, oh my God, you know, I can see all the pins in that. And I would like to think all my friends out there would be as anal as I am about no bobby pins showing in their updos. It's probably one of my pet hates, is having bobby pins showing. It just is ugly, and I think it's just a little bit, makes us look a little bit sort of unprofessional to have that, you know, showing up in our work. Does everyone agree with that? Yes?
Takes a minute. Everyone's very happy with what you're doing here.
You like the look of it?
You're getting a lot of loves and a lot of thumbs up.
It's really pretty, isn't it? So, you know, like there's not a lot to it. It's a pretty simple way of creating a style. So, you know, it's really limited by your imagination dressing hair. But I guess it never surprises me how many people say, I am so nervous of long hair, I just hate doing it, that's why I've come to class. I think the problem being is that we just don't get enough experience on a day-to-day basis in the salon. We're always busy doing our cuts and colours, but we're not necessarily busy doing our dressing of hair. So when it comes to having to execute an updo in the salon, say on a busy Saturday morning or for a special event, you become quite nervous. And as we share a lot in class, a lot of the students, virtually lose sleep over the fact that they, have someone coming in tomorrow to have an updo. But if you do just sort of enjoy it and not sort of make it such a hard task, I think you have to sort of just roll with it and not think it's sort of something to be feared, but something to be loved. I do think it makes a huge difference. I think that's turned out really nicely. What do you think, Jules?
Lovely, yeah. You've got a unanimous agreement that on your stance on bobby pins looking unprofessional.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad we've got that thumbs up around the world on that.
Yes,
I'm really pleased because it is just an ugly thing to see, and I'm glad that everyone agrees with me and it's not just me being an old fogey about crazy things like that.
So Tara, hi Tara, how are you? Tara has asked what branded bobby pin you use, but Tara, really it's about a bobby pin, like you said, that doesn't actually fold over, that's just firm enough to hold the hair and not split and fold over when you apply it to the hair. So Sharon, next week you'll be in New York.
Yes.
And for our Facebook Live next week, we want you to tune in on, is it Tuesday?
Yes,
Tuesday
evening. Yeah, I believe it is.
Tune in to Hairbrained, and we're going to do a special live on the Hairbrained social media Facebook site, and we look forward to seeing you there.
And I believe I'm actually doing a real person.
Yeah, they've got a real live girl for you.
So would you like me to just turn this around now and show what I'm doing? So as you can see, small section starting off at the front. So I've just kept that tight on that side. And as we move around, this was the front section that then got taken through across to the back. And really all I've done is just work these braids across. So we had one section diagonally coming in a little pony, and that section's ended up coming up through the side here and just finishing off around the ear, just in there, just like so. To be honest, if I had a little piece of an accessory, I would actually like to put that in, just because there's a little gap there, and we as hairdressers, we like to fill a hole up with something. And then my second side has just come through and just wrapped around, and just given that slightly sort of pulled out feeling just on the opposite side. So, I think it's turned out really, really nice. 3 simple braids for you to see what they do, and I think it's really been a great result for that one.
So we'll catch you next week from New York?
Yeah, so that'll be the Hairbrained live that we're going to be working with, a live model. Not sure what I'm going to do yet. I'm going to have to dream about that and think about it. And if there is anyone out there that can see their way clear to join us on Sunday for 4 solid days in New York, we'd love to hear from you. With that one spot left, I think we've got 2 left in LA, and then we're Houston. We've got Houston as well. Now it is a private class in Houston, but it's open to the public. So if you are in the Houston area, in 3 weeks' time, we're going to be down there doing our boot camp down there. So we'd love to see you at any of these locations around America. We're so happy to be here. Love the hot weather. That is just like gold for us, to have lovely hot weather. So we're really enjoying ourselves, and we hope you can come and enjoy yourselves with us as well. Thanks for tuning in.